I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos talking about how to run Facebook ads, and honestly, you're getting lied to all over the place. I run a marketing agency and we spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Facebook, and honestly, a lot of the stuff online is just completely incorrect, which is probably why you're looking at solutions. You're finding videos to solve your problem, to learn how to run Facebook ads. So today I'm gonna break down exactly where the algorithm is changing at the end of 2025, early 2026, where things are going, because the whole landscape is completely shifting. My name is Christian Jamal. I run multiple marketing agencies. So I've been in this space for a while, since 2018. This is gonna be one of the most valuable Facebook ad videos that you've ever seen on YouTube, because I'm gonna pull the curtains back. I'm gonna show you exactly how we run ads, where we've got clients that are paying $10,000, $25,000 a month to work with us. And this is exactly what we do for them. Honestly, Facebook is very simple at its core. The more you complicate it, a lot of times, the worse results you get. But there are certain types of complications that yield significantly better results, which is exactly what I'm going to be teaching you guys today. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, this video is going to be extremely valuable to you. So without further ado, let's hop into the screen. I'm going to be teaching you guys everything, all the way from structure, what things mean, how to clean up your ad account so that you can read the data, creating creatives, everything A through Z, okay? So I'm gonna start with like 10,000 foot overview for beginners. So if you are an intermediate or advanced, just check the timestamps below and you'll be able to skip to a part that is more valuable to you. But if you guys are beginners, I'm gonna walk you through an explanation of everything. So Facebook operates in a way that is very similar to other paid ad platforms. So honestly, if you know how to run Facebook ads, you're likely going to be good at running TikTok, Snapchat, Google, YouTube, whatever it may be. Even though the buttons are in different places, the psychology is the same. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times when you're behind a screen trying to click buttons and try to advertise, you forget that the people you're trying to market to are real human beings, okay? So you actually have to be doing something good. You want to actually be incentivizing them to work with you, to click on the ad so that you get good results. Just putting something out there doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, right? Think about the billboards that you see. Does every single billboard yield a good return on investment? Does every single billboard catch your attention while you're driving? Of course not. And that's the same exact thing with Facebook. So when you're setting up ads, it's split into three parts, okay? So you have campaigns, ad sets, and ads. So to show you in a drawing, this is what it would look like. You have the campaign on top, which is kind of the trunk of the tree. You have the ad sets, which are like slightly thicker branches, and then the ads, which are, let's say, the leaves at the end of the tree. So what that means is campaign is your goal. What do you want to achieve? Do you want leads? Do you want sales? Do you want to just get views? What do you want? Ad set is who is seeing this ad. Who do you want to target? What's their age? Where are they located? Are you going to show your ads on Instagram, on Facebook, on both? And then ads is what the actual end user sees, okay? Like the images, the videos, the copy, etc. Now, there's other things here like A/B testing, columns, breakdowns, reports. These are things that are important to note later down the line. But when it comes down to running your ads, it's basically super simple. You want to pick the right campaign goal, target people that are actually going to want to work with you, or what we call an ICP, which is an ideal client persona, and then ads, create something that is captivating enough for them to actually say, you know what? Let me see what these guys are talking about, okay? So on the campaign side, these are the goals that you have available to you. You have awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, and sales. Now, I personally specialize in lead generation, okay? So anything other than leads, I don't usually use as much. So you can use awareness and traffic if you want to get like some followers on Instagram here and there. But if you're trying to make money, if you're trying to sell a service or a product that is a higher ticket, what you're going to want to do is select leads on the campaign goal. Now, the only other thing that you need to know on the campaign level is, are you in a special ad category? So there are 4 special ad categories, which most likely you're either in one of these or in none at all. So a lot of people are in financial products and services. So this is things like life insurance, IULs, final expense, things of that nature. Employment means that you are running ads to get employees. But majority of people just use Indeed, okay? So you're likely not going to be using this. Housing is for real estate agents, etc. You're also likely not going to be using this. And social issues, if you're running ads for a politician or whatever it may be, I'm guessing you guys are not going to be doing that either. Now, the only other thing that is relatively important is how you are spending money. There's two ways to spend money on Facebook. You can do a campaign budget or an ad set budget. Ad set budget is significantly better at the start. Okay? So when you hear people say terms like CBO or ABO, CBO means campaign budget optimization, ABO means ad set budget optimization. Now, let's say you put your budget on the campaign. This is the total of what Facebook is allowed to spend per day. Okay? However, the reason we don't want that is because sometimes, or maybe something more accurate to say is more times than not, spending money on cheap clicks is not going to yield the highest return on investment. That's why we like to put the ad set budget as the target of what we are spending on, because even if you are getting more expensive clicks, Facebook will still spend money on that audience. And in terms, you'll start to realize where your sales are coming from. And then you are able to actually scale the right items. So if you look at here, this is what a typical campaign structure look like. So you have a campaign, which is your goal, couple different target audiences. I just put 4 here for the sake of using the screen. And then let's say we have 3 ads in each one of these ad sets. Now keep in mind, this is the old way of running ads. It still works, but eventually it's not going to be the best way to run ads, which I'll walk you guys through the best way. But regardless, this concept still applies. This is the structure you want to have. You want to have ads in an ad set, a bunch of ad sets, and then all of those ad sets in one campaign. So when you are greeted with this question, let's say theoretically you want to spend $100 a day. You could just do this, but something much smarter to do would be to say ad set budget. You want to turn off share with some of the other ad sets, because the whole point of using ad set budget optimization is so that you manually decide where your money is going at the start. This kind of like ruins that entirely. So you want to make sure that this is checked off. And instead of spending $100 a day one time, what we can do is we can spend $25 a day 4 times, which will yield the same outcome as amount you're spending. But now you'll be able to spend money on what you want. Again, I'm just going to clarify this one more time so that you guys understand why we do this. So let's say this target audience. So let's say we have target audience 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's say audience 1 is getting you 50-cent clicks and everything else is getting you $2 clicks. If you are telling Facebook, this is my campaign budget, Facebook is probably going to spend most of your money on your 50-cent clicks, because Facebook doesn't know where your sales are coming from at the start. Okay. And if Facebook favors something that is cheaper clicks, but you're getting much lower quality leads, you're going to end up saying, oh, I have all these leads, but they all suck. And then you're going to be stuck in this loop of Facebook ads doesn't work, etc. And that's how a lot of marketing agencies run their ads through CBOs. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, I got burnt in the past because their marketing agency didn't know about this strategy. Okay. So you always want to start with an ad set budget. Now, before we move on, we're just going to give this campaign a name. I usually give campaigns one of 2 names. So you either have prospecting, which is people that have never seen my stuff before, or retargeting, which is people that have seen our stuff before. Okay. So let's just go with prospecting. Okay. And then the only other thing I add here is the date. Okay. So I'm not going to put the date now, but you guys get it. You can put like whatever. 08. What is the date today? 10/2025, whatever. Okay. And then you click next. Now we have the first ad set. And just so I let you guys know how we want to set it up, we want to go from campaign to one ad set to one ad, duplicating the ads, filling out these, and then we clone this entire section right here, move it down, create another, create another, create another. Okay. And I'm going to walk you guys through what you can do on the target audience. Here is where a lot of customization comes into place. The only 2 that I recommend using are website or instant forms. Instant forms means you're going to ask the people the questions on Facebook. Website means you're going to ask them questions on a landing page or a website or whatever it may be. Now, I'm going to leave website for another video because there's a lot more intricacies to set this up correctly. You can set it up in a really bad way and it'll take you a little bit of time. But the right way to set it up takes a little bit longer, which is why we're going to save that for another video. Now, after you select instant forms, here you want to select the page that you want to use. And after that, it's going to prompt you to accept the terms if you haven't already. But if you have, it's just going to say you've accepted Meta's terms. For the performance goal, okay, you want to select maximize number of leads if you're starting off. and maximize number of conversion leads if you have proper tracking in place. Now, more than likely, you probably don't have the best tracking right off the bat. You want to say maximize number of leads. Everything else you want to keep blank. If it says cost per result goal, keep that blank. Value rules, you also want to keep that disabled. Now, remember, we want to spend $100 a day. So we're going to spend $25 4 times, or you could also spend $20 5 times. So for the sake of this example, we're just going to keep it as 25. And for your schedule date, you want to put 11:59 p.m. at today's date, okay? So if you want to schedule it for the future, you could also do that, but more or less, you want to keep it same day. End date, keep it blank. And then here, on the audience side, Meta really wants you to use Advantage Plus. Right now, I've seen that it still is not better than modifying it yourself. Now, keep in mind, based on when you're watching this video, this information may no longer be accurate. But for now, what I do is I say further limit of your reach. I switch my setup. And here is where I start to get nitty gritty. So for location, you can do a couple different things. You can pick a city. So for example, Tampa, Florida, which is where our office is located. You can go as high as 50 miles or as low as 10 miles. You could also drop a pin, which if you click this and then you click the pin somewhere, you can go as low as 1 mile or as high as 50 miles. Another thing you could do is pick a county, okay? So Pinellas County, okay? You can pick a county, which is a lot more broad than a city. What you could also do is you could even put a specific address, okay? So 5401 West Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida. All right. So 5401 West Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida. So that's our actual office address, okay? So for this, you could also go as low as 1 mile. So you could pick a very specific location, or you can go a little bit broader. Now you could also add multiple locations. So like, let's say you want to do Tampa. You also want to do Miami. And you also want to do Orlando, okay? Just to keep it simple. All right. And you want to do Orlando, okay? So what you also want to do is you want to make sure that this is turned off. Reach more people likely to respond on your ads is not something that you want to add because a lot of times it will go beyond your zip codes. Now, if you are selling something that can be sold anywhere, you can also pick countries. So you can do United States, France, Spain, whatever. You can pick as small or as broad as you want. You could even select worldwide, okay? But for the sake of this video, we're just going to keep it as United States. I'm just letting you guys know if you guys have a local business that can only target ads in a specific area, you could do that. Now, when it comes to age, I try to keep it simple. I try to just say minimum age 25 to 65 plus. I'm cool with that. Now, if you cannot sell to someone that is older, then I usually do the cutoff at 50. So 25 to 50, that's more than enough. And I also make sure that use as a suggestion is also turned off. Now, for genders, I don't usually make choices on genders. Even if you think your product is only catered to one gender, I would keep it as all at the beginning. And then based on where your purchases are coming from, you can then modify that. Now, for custom audiences, this is something a little bit more advanced. We can talk about in another video. You can create custom audiences and lookalike audiences. And I actually have a lot of secret tricks on how we do this in ways that I've never seen being shared on YouTube. So I'm going to save that for another video. So stick around, hit a subscribe if you want to check that out. And then the last thing you want to do is detailed targeting. So detailed targeting is either a demographic, an interest, a behavior, whatever it may be. Now, typically, if you're just starting off, I like to start off with a broad target and then pick a few specific interests. So remember this setup right here that we have? So you're going to have target audience 1, which is going to be broad, target audience 2, which is going to be a little bit more specific, target audience 3, more specific, 4, even more specific, okay? So for this, we're going to just keep it broad, and then we're going to name the campaign. So we're going to do broad, 25 to 50, US wide, and that's it. And what you also can do if you'd like is edit your placements. So edit placement controls. If you open it down below under placements, you have platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, and then placement controls. So you can pick feeds, stories, etc. Typically for this, I just keep it as is. I don't really touch it. And then over time, you can read the data and decide whether or not you want to shut off one of these platforms. Okay. The next thing we want to do is create the ad. Okay. So we're going to do ad one. Okay. You're going to select your page. And then you want to turn off multi-advertiser ads. What this does is it'll show your ad at the end of other people's ads that are your competitors, but it'll also do the vice versa. So on your competitors' ads, it's going to include you. On the end of your ads, it's going to include your competitors. The next thing you want to do is create a form. Okay. What you want to do is you want to give it a form name that you can recall. Okay. So let's just call this one CJ for the sake of this example. And you have a couple different options here. I would start with more volume and then keep the delivery as optimized. After that, you want to have a headline, and then you want to have a headline correlated directly with your ad. Okay, so based on what you are selling, is put like the main selling point here. Okay, and then for description, you want to say something along the lines of, please fill out your best information so we can give you X, Y, Z, whatever it may be, whatever offer you guys are giving, things like that. When it comes to questions, you can add a couple different things. Conditional logic, a little bit more advanced. We're not going to dive into that. Add questions. You can do multiple choice, short answer, conditional, or appointment request. I don't really like appointment requests. I haven't seen it do well. So typically what we do is multiple choice and short answer. Now, keep in mind, the whole point of asking questions on a form is to do one thing and one thing only, which is to add friction. Okay. Really, the questions they answer is almost irrelevant. Okay. It can be slightly relevant for certain businesses, but more or less making the form a little bit more difficult to fill out is typically why you want to add these questions so that you are able to get someone that is much more invested into actually what you're trying to sell. Okay. So for multiple choice, you can say whatever question you have, and then you can put answer A, answer B, and then answer C. And then for another question, for short answer, you can say something along the lines of like, what have you tried before to solve X problem? X problem. Yeah, I mean, whatever. You guys get the point here. You want to have it be some sort of question that they can answer through some short form, because they will be a lot more invested into actually what it is that you're trying to do. Okay, for the description, it's who do we contact? Or you can rephrase it as who do we send this voucher to, etc., based on your offer. Now, for what you want to do here is you want to put full name first. You can keep email. I would turn off optional for the phone number. That's the most valuable thing they're giving you, which is their phone number. A little tip that you guys can do is get rid of email and then put work information and then work email. This will make them not be pre-filled like the regular email, because that one will pre-fill from their Facebook login. And work email is something they have to manually type out. Now, let's just keep it as email. If you're selling something that doesn't require them to have a work email, then you can just go with this. It's totally fine. Now, for your privacy policy, it's important to put one from your website. So mywebsite.com/privacy-policy. If you don't have one, make sure to do it, because the last thing you want to do is get your account flagged because you gave a BS link that doesn't actually exist. Okay. Now, for the final part, this one is where a lot of people just leave it default, which I completely disagree with. What I usually put here is wait in all caps. You're almost done. ... Call us below to get your quote today, or something along those lines. You can say something like call us below to skip the wait, or something like that. And then you can say call business, put the phone number, whatever it may be. And then for the call to action, you can say call us here. And then what you can do is you can say something along the lines of book a call below if you're doing something more on the virtual side, and then you can put your Calendly link, your booking link, whatever it may be. After that is done, you want to click create form. Now I'm not going to go ahead and create it. We already have a form here that is selected. Here's where you want to get things done. So I'll give you guys an example. This is a form that I'm using for a friend of mine. So build generation wealth. I guess we got to fix that. Build generational wealth and grow your savings with an IUL. Get coverage that fits your budget and keep your family secure. Fill out this form to find the best option for you in just 15 minutes. What is your monthly budget, etc. Other questions. Now, for setting up a creative, we can do image or video. Okay, let's just go with image for now. What you want to do is you want to go to Canva and you want to create a new design. You want to do a custom size and 2000 by 2000. That is the best size to use. Now, for design, you want to pick your niche. In this situation, let's just say what we do, even though I selected US, which is, I wouldn't do that for this business. We're just going to go with it. Let's say you do lawn care. Okay. So lawn care, we can just look that up. And then boom, it's going to give you a bunch of templates. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to be very straight to the point. Like in this economy, distrust is extremely high. You want to just get to the point. Okay. So let's say we selected this. What I would do is I would swap this for our logo. Okay. So let me just select my logo for this situation. If I can find it. Okay, perfect. Background remover. And I'm just going to crop it really quick. And I'll show you guys how you can knock this out really, really quickly. Most people waste a ton of time on things like this, and there is absolutely no reason to. So we're going to move it down here. I think sizing is good. I don't like the color, so we're going to select white. That white is still a little bit off, so I'm going to click edit. You're going to go duotone, and you're going to say custom, and then you're going to select the whitest white twice, and then boom. You can instantly change the shape of any logo, okay? Now, this is eating up a lot of the screen. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and... Now, this is eating up a lot of the screen. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and move that down here, okay? I'm going to crop it a little bit just so that we can still put this in here. We're going to say crop. I'm going to move it a little bit to the right. All right, cool. So I don't want to put my phone number, okay? What I want to do is I want to say 50% off your first lawn or your first service. People already know what this is, okay? So I'm going to make this massive, fix the placement, okay? And then put this down here. And then since this is a local focused business, I will say based in Tampa, Florida. And then I'm going to make this bold just so that they can see where it is that we are based. We're going to fix the sizing, so don't worry about that. And then I'm going to say something like limited time special for all new customers. And then we can change that. Let's just say clients. Then we're going to make that smaller. And then we're going to make this large. I know it looks basic. That's what you need. You want basic. You want boring that gets the point across. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a button. Okay. And this is going to look good. We're going to say click, learn more below. And then I'm going to change the button to white and the text to match the green, right? So we're going to click on this, click on the color, click on this, capture the green, and that is what we're going to do. All right, please go green. Thank you. And now I'm going to make the text larger inside the box. Boom. That's all we need. Okay. I know it looks super basic, but this is actually what works. And now let's say we want to underline it. Underline. I want to do something like similar to this. Change the color to white. And we're going to put that under 50% off. Okay, I want to put it here. Now I still think this looks a little bit too cramped, so I'm going to move this down and I'm going to click on spacing. And I'm going to increase the line spacing. Let me select this, line spacing. Boom, looks good. And let's say we want to make 50 by itself a little bit larger. Let me see. Actually, I do think it looks good. Let's just center this a little bit. You can use your keypad to make sure that you get the right way. And then boom, good to go. I think this is really good. Now you want to do testing a few things. So we're going to test another one. I like this copy. So this copy is good. All right. Lawn care, replace current page. All right. Remember, we're going to change the logo to our logo. So let's say in this situation, I'm just going to grab this, whatever. And we're going to put it down here. All right. And then here, let's put money back guarantee. We're going to use it as an element. If they are not happy, we'll give them their money back. Let's put that almost in the center. All right, cool. I don't like these buttons here, so that's okay. So we can do love your lawn, or I'm gonna get rid of these. I'm gonna put this under it. We're gonna fix the colors. I don't like these colors at all. All right, we're gonna put it right here. Make this text larger. All right, I think white will pop a little bit more on this. So we're gonna do white. This one we're gonna do, let's see if black looks good. It doesn't. Okay. In that case, let's go back to yellow. I think yellow is going to work here. But let's make it hover. Okay, so what you want to do is go effects, lift. All right, that's good. Lift this one. And let's lift this one as well. Let me go ahead and just do this. So the size is 120. Let's do 120 for this as well. Let's do 120 for this also. All right, let me fix the spacing. Love your lawn, or don't pay. I think that's a little bit more punchy actually. And let's select these. We can group them, make it larger. All right, now let's make this a little bit longer. Move this to the left. Just use like your design elements. Just, you don't need to overcomplicate it, okay? And here, what we can do is get rid of these. And then we can take this again and use it down here. And let's just change the color of the text to black. Imagine stacking two offers on top of each other like this. The results are going to be insane. Okay. Now I understand not everybody wants to give discounts, etc. But at the end of the day, the person who takes the risk is the one who tends to win when it comes to these things. Okay. So let's just do this. I'm gonna center it. 50% off your first service. And then above that, I'm gonna grab this text. I'm gonna add it down here. And we're gonna do limited time offer. We're gonna make this text like red or something. All right, center it, move it down. All right, select it all. And then we're gonna pick red. And then we're gonna underline it. Still too big, I think. Okay, let's make it a little bit smaller. This is good. Make this a little bit bigger. Boom. Perfect. And let's make a third one. You want to go back to designs again. And let's pick this one. Let's do replace current page. We're gonna get our logo again. I think I should start a lawn care company after this video. All right. And then we're gonna change this text to white so it's more visible. We're gonna say effects, it's gonna be lift, more visible. Love your lawn or don't pay. Actually, let's go with the first one. 50% off your first service. All right, so we're gonna say limited time offer down here. And instead of putting contact us, we're gonna just grab the text from here. Done. Let me actually go ahead and undo since we need this text. And we can just put it in the center. All right, so we can keep these the same, whatever it may be, so it's all good. And then I actually realized that we don't want this here. Boom. All right, so now we have 3 creatives. Now keep in mind, the secret sauce, one of the most important things to know is that the whole thing you want to do now is create as many of these as you can, okay? So you see how we knocked it out. We did 3 of them super quickly. I personally think that videos are way better. They're also easier to create. You just actually have to be confident on camera. So you should be able to knock those out. I would say for this type of business, while you're cutting a lawn, just film yourself, talk it through, explain why you use the materials that you do, the tools that you do, explain how you met the homeowner, etc. And then you can take it from there. So after that is done, you want to head back to Facebook. You want to click upload. You want to open your file and then click on all the images that you just created. Now give it a second to process. The same concept you would do if you added videos. And then after that, you would select it, click next. Make sure that all of this is original. So just give it a second. So you see how this cropped it up kind of weird? You want to put that as original. Don't worry, I know Meta will give you all these errors and everything. For the primary text, there is 2 things to note. There is short copy and long copy, okay? There's a couple things you can do here. So I typically like to use AI, but I also like to use other people, okay? So what I would do is I would open a new tab. I would look up Facebook ad library. And then from here, you can open the Facebook ad library and look up someone that is doing ads in your niche, okay? So let's look up something like lawn care, right? And you can look up a term overall, which is going to give you tons of ads, okay? And the thing that is most important here, let me zoom in. You want to look at when the ad started running. So for example, today's August 10th. This ad started running August 10th. That doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't tell me if its ad is good or bad, okay? So typically what I like to do is I like to scroll down a little bit so that the older ads start to show up, okay? So August 5th, okay. Perfect. So now that we are in like June 20, obviously the further back you go, the even better. So we're going to grab a couple of these. The first thing I want to do is actually I want to open ChatGPT. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to grab a couple of these copies. But the first thing I want to do is I want to grab my offer. So I own a lawn care company. Here is my limited time offer. Here are the ad copies my competitors are using. And then you want to say, give me 5 meta ad copies. Now, the thing is, it's going to give you really bad copies, okay? It's important to note. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to take that and use it for the better. So this is one copy. We're going to give it a couple ones, okay? So we're going to scroll down a little bit. Okay, hey everybody, my name is Matt, whatever. Okay, this is another one. We're going to see if we can find any other ones. All right, scroll, scroll, scroll. Here we go. I'm going to pick another one. Boom. And then we'll pick another one, like just like one more. All right. So after that, you want to send this message, okay? So now that ChatGPT is giving us certain copies, I'm going to tell you what we want and what we don't want. Copy is very important to do 3 things. Hook someone, give someone context, and tell someone what to do next, okay? So it's a hook, body, and a call to action, okay? So let's look at the hooks. 50% of your first lawn care service. Love it. Your lawn, but better. 50% off your first service. I like that a lot. The neighbor envy play. I don't think that's really good. Your neighbors will wonder what changed. Not a big fan. 5-star lawn care, now 50% off your first service. That's okay. Not too good. Springs here, half off to start. That's okay hook, okay? I like this one the best. Your lawn, but better, 50% off your first service. So we're going to grab that, go back to Facebook, and that's going to be the beginning of our primary text. Now we're going to move 2 spaces, and we're going to see here. What is the next body that we really like? I like these, weekly and bi-weekly mowing, weed control and fertilization, seasonal cleanups. That's good. All right, this is trust focused, okay? Over X amount of local customers, 50% off for new clients for short time only. Okay, that's good. Out of all of these, I like this one the best, but let's look at the line right before it. So spring growth waits for no one. Get ahead of it now. Not a big fan. First impressions start at the curb. We made sure yours says wow. Whether you need mowing, trimming, or seasonal cleanups, our team's got you covered. I think the first part is really good. So we're going to grab this. We're going to put this here. And then we're going to put our green check marks, which are these. All right. Now, since this is a local business, I always like to say like pin. And we're going to say locations where we serve. So let's say Tampa, Florida. And then after that, it's message us now, limited time only. Click learn more to claim your discount before the season fills up. To claim. Okay. So we're going to say, go back to Meta. We're going to say, click learn more to claim your limited time special. The headline is going to have to be a call to action, 5 words or less. So you can go back to ChatGPT. Give me a headline that is CTA focused, that is 5 words or less. And here is where you're going to be able to see some examples. Claim your 50% off today. That's good. I would take that and actually remove your. So claim 50% off today. And then the button, we've been telling them to click learn more. So we're going to go with that. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure to turn all of these off. I don't know why this is even a thing. Okay. And then you click done. Now we're pretty much done with ad 1. What you want to do after this, you don't want to worry about this. This is more advanced. We can go over this in another video. But you want to duplicate this twice because we created 3 ads, right? So we're going to select ad 1, ad 2, and ad 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to ad 2. We're going to get rid of this image, add image, and we're going to select the second one we created. Everything else stays the same. We just want to make sure that the crop is at original. Click next. Text stays the same. Make sure all of these are off. That's good. Now we go to add 3. Get rid of this. Add image. The third one. Make sure these are original. Click next. Next. Make sure all of these are turned off. Done. All right. Now that we have these done, you guys can see if we go back to our Canva worksheet here, we've created a campaign, we've added an ad set, and we've got 3 ads inside it. So that's the structure we have. You can see that here on the left side. So now what's left to do is to create these. But we actually already did the hardest part, which is creating the first one. Okay? Now, what we want to do here is now you want to duplicate this 3 times because we already created the structure add 1 through 3 will automatically come to all of those. So now our structure looks identical to this. Only thing left to do is change the audience for these 3. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the first one. I think that the age and everything should stay the same. The only thing we want to do is we want to add detailed targeting. For this one, we're going to say lawn care. Okay, so that's not an interest. So let's say lawn, gardening is an interest. Okay, lawnmower as an interest. Okay, so let's go with lawn for now. And you want to turn this off. You don't want to use it as a suggestion. You want to use like legitimately the interest that you're putting. So we're going to go back up, get rid of broad and swap it for this, and get rid of copy. We're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to scroll down, go to detailed targeting. We're going to put lawn and see which other options we have. So lawnmower, so that's good. Get rid of this. And we're going to go back up here. We're going to say lawnmower, gardening. So someone that is interested in lawnmower probably has a big yard. But the thing is, this is not always going to yield a good target audience. A good target audience, sometimes you have to think outside the box. So you can think of an audience that is parents. Parents are likely going to have a slightly larger house, which in terms they likely have a yard, which in terms they likely are looking for lawn care, right? You can think of these things outside the box. The example I always like to give for this is we have a client that absolutely crushes it in the pet space. They work with dogs, they sell dog products, they do dog training, they do a lot of these things. And the best target audience for them is actually parents. That's literally it. Like no other target audience, no dog interest, nothing like that, even though they're selling a dog product. So, and then the last one, what you could do is you can do something called a narrow audience. So let's say we're going to do lawn again, lawn and gardening, but then you click off, you turn off your suggestion, and now we're going to narrow the audience. So now we're going to do parents, okay? All parents, doesn't matter which age. Narrow further, we can do something like engaged shoppers. So this is what we call a hyper target. This is something like a Venn diagram where in order for someone to see the ad, they have to match all 3 of these things. So this is what we call a hyper target. So basically it's like a Venn diagram where you're gonna have lawn, parents, and engaged shoppers. So in order for someone to see the ad, all 3 of these things must be true. After that's done, you can just hit publish, and then boom, you're done, okay? Now keep in mind, this is the old way of running ads, okay? Now the reason I showed you this at the start is because it still works. And in order to know how to run the new strategy, you need to know the basics, which this is the basics. This still works, but it's not the best strategy you can do. Now, after this is successful, the reason I highlighted these in green is because after running it for some time, you're going to figure out that, okay, this ad in this ad set is really good. So what you then want to do is you want to grab this ad, duplicate it twice, make no changes to it at all, and then duplicate the ad set 3 times and put it in another campaign. So in a sense, this campaign and this campaign would be running simultaneously at the same time, okay? This is what you call a CBO scaling campaign. So you would take a replica of this ad, and you'd have 2 of them in each ad set, which is basically going to create this effect of basically buying more lottery tickets, okay? So think of running ads as like a pond, okay? There's fish in the pond, fish move around the pond. The more times you launch the ads in that same audience, the more likely you are to hit different parts of that pond, which in terms you're going to catch the fish. So let me see if I have that design here. But okay. So pretty much it's going to look like this. So let's say this is the pond, okay? And this is the audience that you're using, okay? And we're going to have something like this. This is your ad set. This is every time you cast the net inside there. Okay, then we're gonna look up fish. So you're gonna have fish all over this pond, okay? You throw in an ad set like this, you might hit some of these guys. You throw in another ad set, you might hit another one of these guys. Another one, you might hit another one of these guys. One might not hit at all, even though it might be a winning audience, okay? So this is the reason we do this, okay? Now I'm gonna get rid of this, but nevertheless, this will basically fool Facebook to thinking it is spending the money wherever it wants because it's a CBO, but we are targeting the same people, the same pond with the same ad. So we already validated that this works. We're basically giving Facebook more fuel to target them. Now, like I said, this works, but this is not the best strategy you can follow now. This right here is the best strategy you can follow. Again, if you understand how to set up the other strategy, this is going to be pretty much the same thing. This is a little bit more advanced. So if you're a beginner, that's pretty much it. That's the end of the video for you, brother, okay? But if you're a little bit more advanced, this is what you need to do. You need to sit down with your creative team, or if you are the creative team, you need to structure how you can create an absurd amount of ads for your clients or for yourself. What you want to do is you want to start with an ABO campaign. Again, we talked about this already. And you want to do one ad per ad set. And you want to shuffle out these ads at lightning speed, okay? The only thing you want to target is either an interest stack. So if we go back here, something like this, or a bunch of interests on top of each other, okay? An interest stack is either 3 narrowed as 1 or 7 with together. So you can do gardening, garden grove, lawn design, landscaping, etc. Whatever. We have 7 here. Okay. So that is an interest stack. But you are much more likely going to see success with lookalike audiences. Okay. Lookalike audiences are obviously the best way to go, which again, if you're a beginner, I can explain that in another video. But if you're more advanced, this will make sense. You want to build a lookalike off of customers. No more building lookalikes off of people who filled out your lead form, etc. Just customers, okay? And you want to do one ad per ad set. You want to do an ad set budget optimization. And once this works, so like let's say you found this as a winner, you now want to move that. Instead of a CBO, you want to move it to another ABO. So you're going to have 2 ABOs running simultaneously. This one is going to have only one ad set in one ad in one ad set in that one campaign, and these 2 campaigns are going to be running simultaneously. So after you keep this here, by the way, you don't remove it from here. So you keep this here, you clone it in another one, and then you go back and you swap all the ads that didn't work for new ones. So we had ad 1 through 7. Now we have ad 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now we found another winner. Okay? So what you want to do is now you want to do the same thing. Move this to the winning ad set budget campaign, which will now look like this. Keep it in the original and swap out everything that didn't work. So now you have ad 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. We found out, okay, 15 is good. So now that you have 3 winners in your ABO campaign, you are able to do a CBO scale by creating a CBO off of that same exact ABO. So as compared to before, it still works, like I said, but it's more beginner friendly. This is much more advanced. This is the best by far that you can do when it comes to scaling a CBO. So if you look at previous, how you used to do it, like here, which again, I'm going to repeat myself for the 5th time. This still works. It's just not the best strategy because it's very beginner friendly and it works for beginners. But again, if you're scaling ad spends to 5,000 a day, 10,000 a day, this is not what you want to do, okay? So rather than doing the same ad and cloning it and having 2 in each ad set, you now want to have 1 in each ad set, and that ad set is strictly the one that was the winner with this ad specifically, okay? So if it was broad, don't move it into a scaling campaign and now choose a lookalike just because 2 out of these 3 are lookalikes. Keep everything here the same, okay? And then just put it as CBO scaling. Now, you can increase the budget of this as you scale because that's what we call vertical scaling. Or this is what I prefer to do. It's much safer. Is inside that ABO scale, you can just grab all 3 of these and then clone them, which is what we call horizontal scaling. And now you'll have these running together. Okay, so at the end of this new strategy, what you can have is you can have your testing campaign, your winning ad set budget campaign, and then you can also have your winning CBO scaling campaign. So what you want to do is you want to get out of testing as fast as possible. Most people, they test and test and test because that's all they know how to do. You want to spend 80% of your budget on what is yielding you the return. I know it sounds like common sense, but a lot of times we spend most of the money on figuring out what the next thing is going to be, and we don't actually spend money on what's already working right now. Keep in mind, this is a winner now. It might not be a winner forever. So you want to squeeze as much out of it as you can while it is working. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to leave the link to this whiteboard on Canva down in this description so that you guys can clone it, play around with it, follow along this video, etc. And I wish you guys the best of luck. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more advanced and a lot better videos coming out. So, yep, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next one.